a numbers game. You can get ripped off easily by a dude with a pen than you can by a dude with a gun. This is so true, especially when you're reading all of the financial reports and paying a huge emphasis on the PE number, the price to earnings. There are a lot of cases of accounting frauds, and that's why it's very important for us to be mindful when we read some of these financial statements. So take PE with a grain of salt. It is startling to see the number of companies and their accountants push limits of propriety in the recent past, especially in the last 15, 20 years. If you go to Wikipedia and take a look at the number of accounting frauds, it's just startling to see how many of these inflated sales, misappropriation of assets have been reported by some of these accountants in very big companies. So be aware of companies and their accountants violating the accounting principle. And if you see financial statements which are gibberish, you don't understand it, a lot of this could be because you're not trained to understand financial statements. But once you have taken a good introduction on financial statements, you should be able to read it. But if you think that it's very hard, the language doesn't make sense, even after you've taken some education into reading some of these accounts, then it may be that the ugly results of the company may be masked by cosmetic fixes. The expenses are being cloaked, earnings are being manufactured out of thin airs. And with the guise that this earning is only once, this expense is just one off, it was a bad merger for one off reasons. And new types of accountings come up, like there was a fad for pro forma earnings, which was as if we didn't have this bad acquisition, as if we didn't have to pay this stock option. And if we didn't have to do all of this, didn't have to pay this excessive payroll taxes, then our earnings would be this. But that doesn't make any sense. You had a bad acquisition, you paid your employees stock options, which you will continue paying. So be aware of these new accounting principles. It may be the side effect of executives who want to get huge recognition faster. So short-term thinkers or execs who are not in the company as true owners, they could be doing this. So because if you beat the market or the earnings a few times, then the stock continues to go higher. So check for the tenure and the ownership mindset of the executives, and keep the accounting numbers and be very wary of how you interpret them and double check. So because there are many ways in which you could increase the total assets, decrease the net income, or increase it sometimes so that you can show more profits. So make sure you understand what is being done by the company and why are they doing it. So very important for you to go into the details as an enterprising investor to really understand the companies or the stocks that you're picking. And things like this is one off mistake, I'll never do it again, is something that you have to be very cautious of. Be aware of those one-offs as true one-offs. If you don't think it's true one-offs, then maybe there is a deeper problem. So there are two examples. Micron Technology in 2001 started writing off the cost of its inventories. And it was as if it was one-off because the company said we have much more inventory than what the customer needs. But the truth of the matter was potentially that the cost at which we were trying to sell was not the cost that the customer was trying to buy. And so what happened is year after year, multiple years, there was write-offs. And so this could point you to deeper problems in the health of the company or the business overall. Pension fund income by SBC Corp Communication 2001, they started lowering the amount of money that they would keep aside and counted that as income because they thought their returns were high in the last 5 years, so they expect that to be the case in the future. At the same time, Berkshire Hathaway in the same year reduced the forecast for pension income. So you might be thinking, how do I catch these accounting issues? So first of all, try to read the financial reports backwards. Most of the important things are hidden at the very end because you're tired when you're reading this. So the company, some company folks would bury this at the very end or bury it in the footnotes. So read the footnotes, especially if there is a title called Summary of Significant Accounting Principles or Accounting Changes. Then do not understand it. Make sure, even if it's boring verbiage or even if it's stupefying, even if you take a lot of time to understand, make sure you understand that section of the report. They're designed expressly to deter normal people from reading it, because that's why you should persevere to actually understand some of those footnotes, and then compare those footnotes. If you feel it's not usual, and if you detect some sort of fraud, then potentially compare it with competing industries. Like in SBC Comp's case, you would have found that, oh, Berkshire is reducing the expectation from pension income while SBC is increasing. So why is that? And then you ask yourself questions. Read more, get more better at understanding financial reports. You probably take a course in accounting if you don't understand. There are many books that get you to deeper understanding. As an enterprising investor, you've now decided to pick stocks, and when you pick stocks, you really get to get better at some of these skills like accounting. And also, you would have to read 5-10 years of some of those reports to get a feel of consistency over time. This is very critical. And if you can't do all of this, go back to index funds. That's the most critical thing. If you can't do even this basic understanding of the financial statements, stock picking is not for you. If you do Wikipedia search, you will see every year, more than one company is being caught on major scandals on accounting. So if you rely purely on the numbers reported in the financial statement, and if you don't compare footnotes, if you don't understand the industry well, then you may be headed for a big problem. So good luck learning the new skill of accounting.